As you know, we really enjoyed the GFX 50S, and we've all been recently drooling a little bit over the top-end GFX 100, but I thought it would be cool that we finally take a proper look at, is it fair to call it the baby brother? Yes, the GFX 50R. It's the cheapest in the GFX range. We should take a look at it then, right? Let's crack on. What you'll probably notice then, that compared to the G50S, this is more of a rangefinder style. In fact, it's been likened to the XE2, you know, the X Pro 2, I guess the XE2 even more. You're missing the screen on the top, viewfinder is across here, but it's also considerably lighter, and we'll mention that later on. Side by side, you might find a few little differences inside, but it's not until you get your hands on it that you realize just what difference it makes. Now, I know people hate this, but check this out. 51 megapixel sensor, medium format, 44 by 33 CMOS sensor. It's the same sensor as the 50S. You've got a nice set of dials on the top. It is very simple, but you've got the lock there. You've got the exposure compensator dial, which goes round to C. So with this command dial here, if I set it that way, I'll be able to access the extra 2 stops either way, which is something I like doing. It's a nice feeling trigger, perhaps similar to the XH1. We've got a drive button there. We've got another function button there, and we've got an on-off there. That's pretty cool. Standard affair right there. On the front, you can see a release there, another button there, and a PC socket there. Now, the grip is not as pronounced as the 50S. That might be a big deal to you, but you do have a thumb grip on the back, which I think I really do like there. And check this out, Q button on the thumb grip. T30 users might not be happy with that, but it is lower down, and you do have another button there. You'll see there's a bunch of function buttons, because you'll notice there's no AE and AF written on it, so they should be reprogrammable. Bin there, view mode, single, continuous and manual there. No D-pad, so touchscreen should look after you there. Lever right there. Now, you do have a nice tilty screen, up and down only, no sideways angle. Let's turn around to this side here. You'll see the eye diopter there, mic port there, remote. That looks like a 2.5 jack. We'll see, maybe mention that later. On the flip side, HDMI and dual card slots right there. The battery goes in here, nice fat battery. There you go. 1/4 inch screw thread, and under here a DC in and a USB right there. Let's take a look at this screen then. Notice very quick on time, nice clear screen here, seems to be very responsive. And if we go into the menu, you'll see it's pretty much business as usual with the Fuji menus. Note the movie modes only goes up to 1080p, basically 30 frames per second. This isn't really a movie beast, but I think you'll appreciate that it does a job. So, you know, but this is all about that amazing sensor and the stills. Of course, the new GFX is pretty darn good when it comes to the video, and that's the GFX 100, which also costs more than twice this at the moment. So it's pretty much business as usual. If we go to the quick menu, you'll see that is also the same, and you can use a touchscreen to move around it, or the joystick. What we want to check out is the image quality. Well, it's the same as the 50S surely, but how does it feel in practice? Well, here's a few random stills, and then we'll get back and have a chat about it straight after, so hold fire. Definitely landscape and studio shooters, probably where it's really aimed for. But if you're a hardcore street photographer guy that doesn't mind the bulk and the cost, well, if you need the sharpest detail possible with that Fuji magic, well, why not? If you're shooting continuously moving subjects, or you need that real modern day oomph from your video shooting, this probably isn't the body for you. Just like the 50S, the image quality is fantastic. I mean, the colours just feel so much deeper at this level with this sensor. The contrast, everything is held nicely. There's no crazy problems with distortion, no matter which of the lenses you try. Everything just fits beautifully and pops, explodes, and just has real, say it again, depth to it. The resolution and the dynamic range is what you would expect from something at this level with this size sensor. Very, very nice. Shoot in JPEG even, you've still got room to maneuver, as you do with the crop sensor Fujifilm bodies, but shoot in RAW, spot on. Now, a studio shooter's going to control what they're working with, and it's probably sharpness that's going to really make the difference for them. Landscape users, again, sharpness, but the option to maybe bring back the skies a little bit more, maybe just take out the edge off a water expanse or something like that. Beautiful. Now, we mentioned the hardcore street shooter. Yeah, I don't think they need to worry too much, but at this level, it's absolutely beautiful. The 50R, of course, is backed up by quite a nice and decent value set of lenses from Fujifilm, and you can even adapt other lenses using this kit if you so desire. If you've got a bunch of vintage lenses and maybe you've been doing it with the crop bodies, you can do it with this too. There are some decent adapters out there for that, but really this is all about teaming up with the GF lenses, and I haven't been disappointed so far. The autofocus isn't lightning, it's not £4,000 worth of autofocus, but, and I'll possibly mention this again, the money you're spending is not for the mod cons. Yes, this lacks a bunch of mod cons that you could spend a few grand and get a nice full frame camera that's almost as good image wise as this, and for most of us is basically as good as owning something like this with all the mod cons that you want to think of. Yes, that video quality, well, I didn't really bother with it, to be honest, because it's the same deal as the 50S. It's fine. The 1080p is what it is absolutely fine if you want, and you can get some nice footage from it. For me, this was a really solid feeling number, but it felt surprisingly light. I don't know if it's been a while since I picked up the 50S, and the 50S does have a little bit on top. Also, the controls, 50S has some advantages, but you are spending more money on it. That lack of ISO dial wasn't a problem because I just used this nice command dial, which is well textured and beautifully positioned with the shutter button, and that did it for me. But I didn't really need to particularly mess around with that. I shot an auto ISO except for the static studio style stuff, the big group stuff. Of course, other than those extra controls, the 50S gives you more grip, a dual axis tilt screen, and a bigger, maybe nicer viewfinder. But after a lot of play, I'm leaning towards the 50R over the 50S. I'd rather put the money towards a lens, maybe a few more holidays, stuff like that, but that's just me. So there you go. Value wise, this is, I think, the least expensive digital medium format camera out there, with all the goodness of a Fujifilm, you know, those beautiful JPEGs, amazing image quality, maybe lacking a few mod cons that some of you out there might be thinking, well, where is it? But remember, the sensor in this thing for the price, beautiful. Don't be put off by that. This offers a fraction over the top end full frame cameras, but it gives you that beautiful Fujifilm shooting experience with amazing, almost flawless image quality and you're lacking maybe in certain features with the video, etc. But you know, if you want the full works, you've got to lay down 10 grand for the new king of digital medium format, the GFX 100, which we really look forward to getting our hands on here, and hopefully even the samples will be more appropriately epic. Right, I've got a very large group shot to deal with this, so I'm about to change the modes over for that. It's working nicely with my Godox flashes, by the way, the X1T I think it's called, and my V862Fs. Flawless experience, no problem with that. So stay tuned. I'd have shown you shots from that because I'm going to shoot that tomorrow, and well, by the time I finish editing this I'll have those images, but data protection means I can't show you that, which is why you're stuck with the random stuff that you're getting. But you know, I look forward to hearing from you in the comments below if you've used this camera and what you think about it, or if you've tried another digital medium format camera that you think we should look at. Leave a comment below. Make sure to subscribe. There'll be some cheaper stuff along shortly for sure.